Hey everyone, welcome back to the Node tutorial series, and in this video we are going to talk about very important topic, sync and async programming. So in Node.js we have to take at most care of how the code has been written, whether it is a sync or a async manner. In this video we are going to talk about what is sync and async programming language, or how the node is affected by this. Hey everyone, this is Kamran and I'm a full stack web developer who has been working in Node.js for a long time, and now I'm creating this video tutorials on Node.js explaining the basics of Node.js, and then I'm going to create a whole project out of Node.js so that it will help you to understand the Node.js and become a Node.js master out of it. Now let's talk about what is sync and async programming language. So basically sync and async can be defined as blocking and non-blocking. So sync is a blocking programming language and asynchronous is a non-blocking programming language. So let's say if you write 5 lines of code, if first line of code takes a lot of time and it blocks the rest of the code until the first line is executed fully, then it is a blocking type of programming language, which is sync programming language. So JavaScript is a synchronous programming language, whereas Node.js is a framework on JavaScript which is asynchronous. That means that it is not a blocking or a non-blocking framework. That means it will help you to write a code which will run a lot faster than a synchronous framework. Now let's try to code something and understand what exactly is asynchronous and synchronous. So as I said, the Node.js is a asynchronous programming language, which we say is non-blocking programming language. So let's take an example of that and try to understand how exactly Node.js executes its code. So let's say if we are using any synchronous programming language, so if I'm going to use this method, and after this if I'm going to print something, let's say if I'm going to console that this is the end of line, this is the end of file, then in the blocking programming language what will happen, that this will execute and it will take its own time, and then once that is done, this file created will be printed, and then this particular line will be executed, right? But in Node.js it is bit different. In Node.js it is non-blocking, so this particular method will trigger and this will run parallelly, and then it will go to the next line as well. Let's try to run this script and understand what I am talking about. So here, once I run this npm start, you can see that this is the end of file is printed first, and then the file created is been printed. So this is what makes Node.js framework very fast as compared to any blocking programming language. So we also have some sync methods which you can use in case if you want to block the code at that point. So let's say if in a case where I want to run something after this async method has opened only. So in that case we use callbacks, which we have already used in our last video. So in simple terms, whenever we are going to call this method, then we are going to pass this function as well, which will be executed once we are done with this method. So once we write the file, then only we are going to execute this method. So let's say if I want to make it async, so in that case I have to remove this, and this will be a blocking code, and I have to take the output in some constant variable. So I can take it in the let's say response, and then I can run this, and once that is done, then I can call this console log, and file is created, and then I can also console the response over here. We have to update this write file method to write file sync, and this will make this whole method async, which will be the blocking code. So that means that unless this particular method is not executed, it will not go to this line. So let's try to run this and see the output. As here you can see the file is created is consoled first. This is the end of the line. This is undefined because a write file async does not return anything. So that is why this is undefined for now. But hope you understood the difference between sync and async and how you handle async using callbacks. So let's undo the changes, get our callback again. So there are other methods which you can use to handle this async methods. So you have to be very clear about how to use as async and sync method inside this Node.js scripts. And to handle the async methods, you can use promises as well as async await. I will go through promises and async await in the coming videos. So till that, you can use callbacks to handle the async methods. Happy coding everyone. See you in the next video.